It's time now for the Captain's Log. Once again, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And Eric is joining me in my Captain's Log. We're going to talk about a lot of news that came out during San Diego Comic-Con this last weekend, and some other stuff that is sprinkled in here as well. We'll probably talk about a couple things that came out before Comic-Con. Yeah, I had the same thing this year that I did with E3, where there were certain pieces of news where I'm like, why didn't you save that for Comic-Con?
Yeah.
One of those was Jeremy Renner as Twitch in Spawn. I don't know why McFarlane didn't hang on to that.
Yeah.
I figured he'd have a big showing at San Diego. Now, to be fair, I didn't look real closely at it. I got, you know, people sent me news articles, and I looked up some things here and there, but like I wasn't looking real hard at what actually was going on at Comic-Con, so I don't have a good sense of Comic-Con this year. I just know news that came out of it. So I don't know if McFarlane had a showing for the Spawn movie, but we expected he would. I didn't hear anything from Comic-Con.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything either.
But that doesn't mean there wasn't something, and we just didn't, you know, find out about it. But anyway, so, but this is now a couple weeks old news, but, Eric, you said you thought Jeremy Renner seemed like a good pick. I can't
sense to me in my
immediately picture it, and it makes me think that either they're going to do some kind of cool, you know, like makeup prosthetic thing, and they're going to transform him, or it's going to be a completely different character.
He might have a mustache.
Yeah. I don't know that without Sam that he's going to try to make that character the same sort of archetype or the same sort of character. And reinventing...
Yeah, just be a different character called Twitch.
Reinventing him might end up kind of makes sense. I don't know. I don't even know if his last name will still be Williams, considering that he's changing Al Simmons.
But isn't he changing Al Simmons because Al Simmons?
That is the assumption I'm making. He hasn't done it in the comics, though. And it's weird, because...
Even he might have a difficulty coming up with a reason to stop calling him Al Simmons.
No, but you'd think, look, those comics aren't selling that great anyway. So he goes from Jim Downing back to Al Simmons, and then the Al Simmons thing happens. What we're talking about is the real Al Simmons, who McFarlane based Spawn on, wrote a book about how he inspired the character, and McFarlane thought that there was a lot of kind of making up stuff, and I
connecting dots that weren't there.
With that one, that was probably actually a lawsuit that made sense, to be honest with you. I think he was probably right about it. We'll never know because we won't get to see the manuscript. Yeah. And oh boy, I would give my left leg to get to read that. Yep. I'd love to see what he wrote, but I'd love to have a copy. Well, at one time I was collecting Spawn, and I really wanted it for my collection, and I'm not doing that anymore. But anyway, I digress. I'm just saying that, like, I would have thought maybe we would have gone back to, like, maybe a third Spawn. You know what I mean? Like,
you betcha.
So anyway, Jeremy Renner is obviously a great actor, and I'm excited that they got somebody like that for the lead.
In the announcements, they don't know it's the lead. Right?
No, I was going to say the news outlets that are reporting on it don't know that it's the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because that's not the big story. The big story is Jamie Foxx. I'm like, guys, at least if we can buy into what McFarlane is selling, which he describes his own stuff kind of inaccurately a lot, so who knows? Like, it is possible Spawn gets way more screen time than we think he's going to, but he still is talking about it like Spawn might have 4 or 5 lines of dialogue the entire
But he needs a great actor to pull off those 4 or 5
lines. Yeah, that's what he said. It's supposed to be... Or at least originally he wrote like 100 scenes, he said, and he says it's really dialogue-driven. Jeremy Renner should have the majority of the dialogue in that movie, from what it sounds like. So people don't realize that that's the main news about this movie, is that it's going to be...
Jeremy Renner is the lead actor.
He's the lead.
In the Spawn film.
Like, yeah.
If everything that McFarlane said can be trusted.
If they sell it on its lead, it would be a star vehicle for not Jamie Foxx,
but Jeremy Renner,
yeah. But I'm glad that they've got, like, really good, competent actors. You know, it's... I mean, yeah. I was surprised by that casting. I didn't think they would get anybody that big.
No, I didn't either.
I figured Jamie Foxx would be the one person in that movie you'd ever heard of.
Yep.
So, that's really interesting.
But it's also McFarlane, and McFarlane's not a guy that would go to no names, right? Like...
Yeah, he would if he couldn't afford anybody else.
That's true.
It's a Blumhouse movie.
That's true.
Like, are you surprised that a Blumhouse movie is getting more than one actor you've ever heard of?
I mean...
A first-time Blumhouse movie. I mean, like, I guess it's a little bit different when you have...
I mean, yeah... No, you're right. You're right. It's just, I imagine... Look, McFarlane doesn't know what he's doing. He's never made a movie before. I would not be surprised if we got, like, 4 or 5 stars, and then he realizes he doesn't have money for the movie.
Yeah, but he's not going to be in charge of all of that, right? Like, I mean, entirely in charge,
McFarlane is the most surface mainstream person on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is aware that there are actors that he hasn't seen. Like, I think it's possible, at least for the main roles, he wants actors he's heard of, because those are the only actors he knows about.
I'm going to argue with myself for a minute and say, because I know what you're probably thinking, well, Shyamalan, you know,
I didn't even think Shyamalan,
with Split
but yeah.
and all that, because
I mean, only has McAvoy.
Those are like, yeah, but Blumhouse, but Glass is going to have
that's building
everybody.
off the success of Split,
right? I don't know how much money that's getting, but it's probably a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this being a first time out.
Yeah, yeah.
Billy Dee Williams is coming back as Lando, which is not especially surprising.
One, about time. Two, of course, everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprising no one.
The tough thing about that for me is I'm like, well, if you're going to go ahead and do it, it sucks that you didn't do it with Force Awakens when you still had Han Solo. It's just really weird that you're going to bring back... It feels almost desperate. Like, we got to have...
We have to have somebody...
One more person passing the torch.
We thought we were going to have Leia in this movie. Oh, no. We have to have...
That's what it sounds like. It may not be that, but that's what it sounds like.
God, it kind of undercuts this whole trilogy where, like, every movie has to be a passing the torch movie. We couldn't do that with the first movie. This whole saga is...
I mean, if that's what it is, he might just be in one scene. I mean, like...
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There might be some cool reason to go back to Cloud City. I don't know. If he's still there. I don't know that he would still be there.
I have no idea what he's doing.
Like...
I don't know, it just... I assumed he was going to be... If he wasn't in the first two, I assumed he would be in the third one. Especially now that everyone's dead.
So, like Cobra Kai, weirdly, we have another franchise that attempted a reboot and is coming back in its original continuity. Robocop's coming back. Robocop Returns.
Okay, so I've looked into this.
Yes.
So this is going to be based on the original script for Robocop 2 by the writer of Robocop, which is Robocop wakes up like 50 years later in a completely different like environment. I think that's kind of interesting, especially like I like
that it'll be futuristic.
Yeah, I like the idea that it'll
be
the
alternate 1987. I always felt like, well, and they don't come right out and say that. Like I've always thought that you could read that movie as either alternate 80s or actually futuristic.
Mm. I like the idea that, like, well, time has passed in the real world and it's kind of passed in the Robocop world, too. I've never read that script as far as I'm aware. It's not out there to read.
Mm-hmm.
No, I discovered that when I did my Robocop pitch all those years ago for, where I was like, oh, because I also did a time jump thing.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. It is not going to be that script, to my understanding.
Right.
We are using that as the first draft, basically.
It's based on that, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Are you excited about it, or...?
I will be real... Well, do we know who's directing it? Oh, yes, yes, it's that guy that's really hit or miss. Because I loved Neil Blomkamp. Because I loved Chappie, even though no one else did. No one liked Elysium.
Nope.
And you and I are two of the only
did,
people that didn't really care for District 9. You like it less than I do, but I also am not a huge fan of District 9.
Oh, it is the District 9.
It's the District 9 guy.
Okay, I no longer care.
But I've always thought he was super influenced, especially in Chappie.
I'm just kidding.
If
he has the right script.
I've always thought he was super influenced by Verhoeven.
By Verhoeven, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
so,
if he has the right script, it might work.
I was excited for his Alien movie when he was almost going to get to
I feel like his sensibilities are a little bit too cynical.
Sure.
But that might have just been projects he picked. I mean,
he wrote all of those.
I don't know what Chappie was like.
Chappie's like Short Circuit, like
but
super
is it
violent.
Cynical Short Circuit.
Well, it's like Short Circuit if Short Circuit was raised by like criminals.
Oh, okay.
And didn't really understand like life and like I don't know. It's I like that movie a lot, and very few other people do. I can't really explain why I like that movie. Like, it's like.
I'll try to watch that at some point.
It's like Short Circuit mixed with RoboCop. That's the best explanation I can give it.
I mean, with his track record, he's a director that makes sense for that project.
Absolutely. At least on paper for most people.
I want to be excited about more sort of canon RoboCop and not rebooting and not forgetting what RoboCop was about in the first place. That's nice. It sounds like they're making a thing that will be more for people that actually like RoboCop as opposed to...
I'll be super excited to hear when it comes back.
Yeah, me too. As opposed to trying to, like, you know, water it down and make it something different and try to make it for the masses.
We're learning,
my
right?
big question, I think so, yeah. Now,
with Blade Runner and with Mad Max Fury Road, like and Cobra Kai, we're learning how to do this.
I mean, it's still a case by case thing because sometimes you end up with things like Terminator Genisys, where it's just like greatest hits of the franchise.
But we'll see what the next Terminator is like.
Sure.
Because it's sequel to only 1 and 2.
Which is the same thing as this.
Yeah.
And that is really exciting. No, you're right. We are kind of learning about
We're kind of learning about this, I think.
Predator's doing the same kind of
thing.
Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And then you just hope that moving forward from there, if they franchise it out, that it doesn't end up being a thing where, and then we want to forget all these other sequels to this thing you made, and then down the road, we only keep 1, 2, and that other thing, with these other things in the middle that we got rid of, but that one is also in canon.
I mean, we have had 3 Terminator... This Terminator film will be the 3rd Terminator film that is the beginning of the trilogy.
Yeah.
But they're also real open about, look, if this movie doesn't sell, there won't be more. So
yeah, and that's the thing is, even if it's great, I'm afraid it might be like 2049, where there's just not an audience for it. I don't know that there's an audience for this movie.
For Robocop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you agree?
I don't know.
Like, who knows if there's enough people that would actually go to that? It's the same
Robocop
thing
is a bigger name than Blade Runner, though.
I think it is a similar thing to Blade Runner. You're right, but Blade Runner didn't have a failed attempted reboot.
I do think that reboot hurts a lot.
Yeah.
If that reboot hadn't happened...
although, if they put out the right trailer, it could just wash the taste out of people's mouths, you know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are saying, like, you need a bunch of years for Ghostbusters. I think if you put the right trailer out,
yeah,
you still could bring people back. You've always said 10 years. I don't know about that. I think if you made the
well,
right movie,
the problem with Ghostbusters, they politicized it.
Sure.
That's what you need distance from. It's not the bad movie. At least
RoboCop, there wasn't that.
Yeah. Michael Keaton will not be in this one. That's
Keaton
unfortunate.
couldn't save it, is what I was about to say, yeah.
But no, I think I think a lot of people didn't go see it that liked RoboCop and were like older guard kind of a people because it didn't look good. That movie didn't sell itself as... That movie wasn't great. It was smarter than it sold itself as.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a bad movie.
It's just like fine.
Yeah.
But
it's not about the same thing.
I think, especially if you put Peter Weller in it, I think there's a potential that like people that didn't go see that didn't go see the reboot might go see this because like, oh, it's RoboCop again.
They'll much quicker write it off. I mean, I know that these
and
are
it's telling me that's gonna be a hard R.
I know these are different things because this is a TV show, but it's not like anybody went into Cobra Kai going, well, I don't know if I want to watch this because they made a crappy reboot. Like, yeah. Or I say crappy, I didn't watch that movie. I think people like that movie.
People like Jackie Chan in that movie at the very least.
Yeah. Other things. Cate Shortland directing Black Widow. It was news to you that we were getting a Black Widow movie.
Did you know?
I had heard rumblings, but I didn't know if it was for sure. And then it was weird that it's like, you know that Black Widow movie that everybody knows is coming? I'm like, no, I wasn't sure about that.
I looked into her. She's a typical Marvel director. Barely done anything. It's a lot of... I looked at her filmography. It's all foreign, I think. It's super indie, and like it's like a list of awards that you've never heard of.
Yeah, sure.
Which is exactly who Marvel hires. So she seems right.
Could be great.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't have an opinion yet, but I'm glad we're getting that movie because like I think they should have made that a while ago.
I really hope it's kind of like Winter Soldier. I want it to be like an espionage.
Sure.
Movie.
Yeah. I hope it's not a prequel because I could see them doing that.
Yeah, because, I mean, Scarlett Johansson talked like this was her last movie with Infinity War. Like, this is the last time I see these guys. You remember that?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Maybe it is a prequel.
It could be like an origin story.
I could be okay with that.
Well, especially if Renner's in it.
Yeah, or Hawkeye not played by Renner. If it was an origin story, like,
but it would be weird if we used her and not him.
Well, I would assume we wouldn't use either of them.
I would be really surprised if it wasn't Scarlett Johansson.
If it's an origin story, I'm saying.
But they keep doing the de-aging thing.
That'd be weird. Oh, I don't want her to
But they're going to do it for an entire movie with Jackson.
She's like 24 in Iron Man 2.
I know, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I think they could almost get away with just using her the way she looks now and changing her hair and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
I can see them doing that, and I can see the same thing with Renner.
Yeah, especially, yeah. No, I think it could be cool. I hope it's good.
Yeah. It's a challenge because it's not like going to another genre they've not done yet. Because we've done the spy thriller thing now.
But we don't have a franchise
we don't have a franchise of it, and you could do a more traditional spy thriller because Captain America is an unlikely spy.
You could do a more super spy James Bond-y thing. You could have her in like the sexy dress going in and like infiltrate a party and like you could do more
you're right.
of
that was espionage before it was spy thriller.
Yeah,
like it was spy thriller, but it was more of an espionage thing.
Yeah.
And
this
it was
could be
also
more super
like
spy-y.
Yeah, and just because you're in a spy movie doesn't mean you're on the run.
Yeah.
And that was an on the run movie.
Yeah.
So no, that is a thing that we haven't entirely.
No, that's not a spy movie. It's a movie influenced by spy things.
That's right. Yeah. Agent Carter was more of a spy thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, there was a run right before Secret Wars. I read the first trade of it. It's wonderful. I've always meant to read the rest of it, but it's that thing where like, and Secret Wars happened, and it ended, and I stopped caring. But it was really good.
It also has the benefit of being not a straight up superhero thing because she's kind of ambiguous.
Yeah.
You know, morally.
You could go a little bit darker than some of their characters have been able to go.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to always do the right thing. She, she could be not an anti-hero, but closer to that.
If it's a prequel, I do not want to see the scene that we talked about in Avengers.
No, I don't either. Don't dramatize that.
Yeah, don't do that. I also don't need to see Red physically being put in her ledger.
No ghosts. Zombieland 2 with the original cast.
Wasn't there supposed to be a TV show? Did that fail? Did that start and
Oh, I forgot about that.
Did you remember when they announced the TV show on Amazon? Was it Amazon?
Maybe so. I think doing another movie with that cast is cooler.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously,
I'm kind of excited about that.
I mean, I don't love that first movie as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah, but Harrelson's great.
Harrelson is great.
I like that movie a lot. I'm kind of excited about that. So that's pretty cool. Although it could be one of those things where we come back like almost a decade later, or maybe a decade later, and those guys don't really want to be there.
I mean, that Bill Murray scene is amazing.
It is, but I don't want to do it again.
No.
I would be worried that we would either do something like that or bring him back. I don't want to do that again.
No,
unless you could come up with a good excuse for him to be. Wait, did he die? I can't even remember.
He becomes a zombie.
Doesn't he get eaten? Yeah.
No, I would be worried that we would do like another where it's like, and it's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. I hope they don't like repeat beats and stuff, and I hope they actually like have a script and they're not just hoping to milk a little bit more money out of the franchise.
Could be Dan Aykroyd. We did something with that. Where it's like, oh, you're always following Bill Murray.
Yeah, and then that girl again is like, I'm so tired of hearing about Ghostbusters. I don't care. I didn't know what this was, and now I do, and I don't care. CW is maybe making a Batwoman TV show. The way
is a maybe now.
Well, so it was announced as sounding like a definite thing, but then in the article I read it said if it goes to pilot. So they're doing an event crossover like they do in December this year, and that's going to introduce Batwoman. And they're gonna do that like they did with the Flash, except I think that's a big every show crossover. I'm not sure, or maybe it's a couple shows. I'm honestly not sure, but I think it's their big crossover of the year. They're going to introduce Batwoman, and then that's supposed to do a pilot. But I guess it's possible that if ratings aren't great or whatever, they just won't bother with it. But they already have a showrunner, so I don't know what. Maybe it was just worded weirdly in the article. It is a lady named Carolyn Dries who worked on Vampire Diaries and wrote some scripts from seasons 5 to 8 in Smallville.
Wow, that's a track record.
So it's a CW.
Please, dear God, no.
It's just somebody in the CW.
Let someone competent make a Batwoman show.
I'm not excited.
You could make an amazing Batwoman show. Don't give it to these people, please.
Yeah. No,
give it to the Gotham people before these people.
It's going to be pandery, and they're going to pat themselves on the back like they always do.
You won't get a single episode without talking about her, how great she's a lesbian.
For being so progressive, and just have that, and don't feel the need to make that, to use it as a crutch. That's what I don't like about it, because I mean, they have lots of gay superheroes and stuff now in those shows, and I'm not applauding them for being wonderfully progressive or whatever, because I feel beaten over the head with it, and a lot of those people I don't like. I'm not gonna like your character just because they're of a persuasion that at one time was more taboo, or continues to be taboo in circles. Certainly,
I don't want to see this character.
It's I'm not saying that it's that I'm not glad that they are trying characters like that. It just seems like they use it as a crutch.
They'll also be the first people to have to deal with her origin, because you can't do.
Well, and here's what I like about it.
She has to be 40, because her origin is tied to Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
If they keep any of that, or they can just. Yeah. But that universe likes to pretend like we haven't made progress we've made.
That's fair.
No, I mean they've done that kind of thing.
That's fair.
I'm
That's
just
fair.
telling it out. I'm just calling it like I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
man.
no, that's
like
fair.
that's they've done that kind of thing. But I think this could be cool if I had any faith in those showrunners, because they're doing what I wanted them to do with Supergirl. I wanted it when and I mean Supergirl wasn't in the CW verse before, of course, and this is why I wanted that. They were going to do a Supergirl that wasn't going to have Superman in it, so and of course they did that later. But before we knew anything about it, and just that, I said, well, wouldn't it be cool if it was a universe that just had Supergirl and not Superman? They're actually doing that with Batwoman, it sounds like. I mean, like they unless they start talking about Batman suddenly. Is it gonna be a world where she has to come up with a bat motif on her own? That could be really cool if you did it right.
It won't be, but it could be.
But it could be. So I want to like that. Also, I don't think Batwoman aesthetically fits in that world because it's not a real stylized universe. It's like they do cool, more out there comic booky things, but it's not a stylized world. Batwoman I think of as a super stylized.
Well, yeah, because Cate Williams.
For a Batwoman show, I would want to see something. I don't mean story-wise, but something more like Gotham, where it doesn't look like anything we have in the real world. You know what I mean? Where it's totally outside of time. And it's got its own color palette, and you know, like Batwoman, a live-action Batwoman show seems like a thing. And I know what you're going to say because of the Titans trailer, but it seems like a thing that should be on DC Universe, not on CW.
No, it should. No, absolutely.
That's where that should be.
Yeah.
So I want to be excited about that, but I don't have any confidence in them anymore.
No.
And I think that's super sad.
They shouldn't be allowed to keep getting TV shows.
I will also be really surprised if she doesn't date Sarah Lance. I'll be really surprised if they don't do that.
Leave her alone. Give her the competent people.
Yeah. Yep. So that's our thoughts on that. The Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix has a date now. It's supposed to come out October 4th, 2019.
And a title you have to click this link to see.
Eric still has a wait-and-see attitude. He's still not sure this movie's actually happening. But,
I'm still not convinced. We may not see this movie.
I'm just joking. I think this movie we definitely will see. They're fast-tracking it.
Or it'll be the only film that comes under this imprint. That is also possible.
We'll talk about the imprint in a little bit. But
like Punisher Warzone's Marvel Knights imprint.
But it's not an imprint. So
because it's Worlds of DC.
We should talk about that.
Yeah.
But it's not an imprint. That's just what they're calling their universe now, which I have issues with. But we'll talk about that. So, but the Joker movie is just called Joker. That's fine. Cool. Yeah. Whatever. That's a nice, simple title. I don't know what else to say about it. I guess I like that it doesn't have a the. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about it. But you're right. Like, you had to click on the article.
I'm so angry. Joker title. Joker movie has a title.
Reveal.
Click on Joker.
But Eric, we've never gotten this far with any of these projects and them not getting made. Like by this point they get made. They've probably already sunk too much money in it.
That's fair. That's fair.
They've already hired their actor. I mean, you've obviously we've had casting for movies that haven't gotten made, but with DC actually making movies regularly now, I would be surprised if this didn't happen at this point.
I mean, at this point, I'm not surprised by anything that happens at Warner Brothers.
That's totally fair. Yeah, I mean, you could have somebody like, walk off angry or something, and then that puts the project in danger. That could happen. Yep. But I'm just saying that at the moment they're serious about it.
Yeah. And Joaquin Phoenix is a fascinating pick.
I think so too. Yep. No, I think he could be great.
Yep.
And I like that they're not going with a young guy. Because Joaquin Phoenix is not super young, but it's an origin story. I think that's really interesting. It's got to be set out of continuity because the guy we saw in Suicide Squad could not possibly be Joaquin Phoenix in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's good casting because they're immediately saying, look, it's a completely different character.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we can go ahead and talk about that.
Worlds of DC.
That Worlds of DC thing. I don't like it.
It's basically saying it'll count if we say it counts, or won't count if we say it
That's what I don't like about it. I want there to be an imprint. I want to...
It should have been Elseworlds. Yeah.
What you should do is have this is going to sound weird. Have the Elseworlds, or whatever you want to call it. Even Worlds of DC would be fine for that, and then you have DCEU films. What I would have done is had an imprint for the ones that definitely are set in their own continuity that will never connect to anything else, and no anything for the ones that you want to be ambiguous about, right? So you don't have to say DC Extended Universe anymore. You just have all the other ones be ambiguously movies that like maybe talk about Superman and stuff, and then if you ever wanted to use the DCEU version of different characters, now it connects, now it's canon. They developed Shazam, as far as I understood it, as a movie that was set outside of DCEU. In the trailer, Superman's name is in a newspaper, and there's been rumors that Cavill might have a cameo. Like, you can be in production on these things and not decide until the 11th hour if you want to be in continuity or not. I think that's a good thing, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I would have an imprint for the ones that aren't, and then for all the other ones, just they could be. Maybe they're not. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Until we decide it matters. And then once we do, then you can have people come in and out. But you don't necessarily have to have a plan unless you're actually building to something.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't think they would ever release a film ambiguously continuous.
But they keep saying they're going to. I mean, that's what they're saying. Like, they're like, we're just going to make movies now. The ones that are clearly in their own continuity are not ambiguous.
Yeah.
But everything else might be. Shazam,
and you can connect them later if you want.
Shazam, if they don't have that Cavill cameo, I think you're going to walk out of going, that could be the DCEU, it could not be. And retroactively, if when they make a sequel, maybe they'll add something. No, I think they will do that.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, and honestly, at this point, with how reactionary they are, that's smart.
They should do that.
They shouldn't be locked down to anything.
That's right. Yeah, they are anti-synergy right now, which is what they should be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm going to show my hand a little bit, but I'm excited about their next 3 projects, which is just
What's
wonderful.
The third
that,
one?
Like the Wonder Woman sequel.
Oh, yes, of course.
Just like that everything they're putting out looks cool now. Very excited about that. So let's talk about the Titans trailer. So I saw that and did not know what to make of it because, like, I had a jaw drop moment, and I mean, like, people online are a lot of people are like kind of losing it and how violent it is and how it doesn't look like their Teen Titans and that kind of thing. My immediate reaction wasn't, oh god, they've ruined it, because I'm not a Teen Titans guy, so like I don't have a dog in that fight. I mean, I like Dick Grayson, so I get why people were worried about that. My immediate reaction was, oh, so we're gonna go hard R? Like,
oh, you still don't know your audience, DC. You still are stuck in 1995 where you're so cool and edgy. Oh God, no! It's like New 52, like where they just don't know what.
Yeah, somebody suggested to me that, and I don't know if I fully agree with this, that it looks like the CW people trying to make a Netflix Marvel show.
I mean, I could see that to some degree. I think it looks like a fan film.
I think it does too.
I think it looks absurdly violent and vulgar like a fan film.
I'm worried about production values.
And it looks like they have no budget. Starfire and Beast Boy both look horrifically bad.
And it's possible that they didn't have enough of it done when they cut that trailer.
I wouldn't cut that trailer.
That's what I'm hoping.
But here's the thing.
I feel like they might have rushed it for
after
Comicon.
Those set photos where everyone freaked out and said, this looks awful.
But then isn't DC Universe coming like in the fall and like it's going to launch with it? So they've got to have a lot done, right? Like
you'd think. So 2 things. One, don't show me anything if it's not done after those pictures and everyone freaked out and said this looks awful.
Yeah.
And 2, don't show me anything that's not done when it's your launch show. You can't. I would when those pictures came out and people freaked out about Starfire and Raven and a lot of people were like, just wait and see. Like, it's not done yet. Like, let's see what these pictures look like. If I was on the set, I would be panicking.
I still have that.
That is what our show looks like. Do you not like that?
I still have that attitude to a certain degree, but they certainly don't know how to sell it.
Nope.
It might end up being better than it looks. I have my reservations about characterizing Dick Grayson that way. Certainly, a lot of people saying things like, well, hey, wait, that's Jason Todd. We know Jason Todd's in that show. And
as Red Hood?
We just know he's in the show.
Oh, okay.
We just know there's a character named Jason Todd in that show.
I guarantee you Red Hood
and
will
I
be in that show.
think Damian is also in that show, although I don't know that for sure.
Weird.
I don't know that for sure, and I'm not saying that. I mean, they're obviously not regular Titans characters, but they're going to be in the show somewhere. Yeah. I know Jason Todd for sure. I read that, but anyway, that's not how you sell it. If it's lots of different tones, like Jeff Johns said, you cut a trailer that gives you the sense that there might be some levity and there might be some heart, and it really does look like, I mean, you hit it when you said like 1995 edgy, but it looks like the kinds of fan films we were making circa 2000, 2001, right?
It looks like the film, like it looks like the Image universe, like the 90s, the kids that grew up with the Image that wanted DC to be like violent and like watch Batman kill people.
It looks like Power / Rangers.
It looks like Power / Rangers. No, it looks terrible. And Jeff Johns looked very reactionary in that interview where he's like, look, however you feel about that trailer, it's a lot of different tones. Yeah. And why did you sell me a trailer with one single tone?
I know. I guess they just thought that's what would sell it. But
now, to be fair, it could be like Star Trek Beyond, where they cut the trailer to Beyond, and Simon Pegg immediately came out and was like, that's not the movie we made. I just want you all to know that
Pegg looked more confident than John.
That's true. He looked real uncomfortable.
Here's what I don't get. I don't know why we're doubling down on hard R for all the original content. Maybe it won't be all of it, but I will be very surprised if it isn't.
Seems like it's most of
it. It sure looks like it. Now, we don't know yet, but like, Swamp Thing, that could make sense to do with, right?
Swamp Thing does make sense.
Of course, you know?
Even the Harley Quinn.
Even the Harley Quinn show, potentially.
Which we knew was an adult show to begin with.
But you're not selling the entire streaming service that way because you have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of old stuff that isn't like that. You got a bunch of movies, you got a bunch of TV shows. You're doing comics and stuff. It's clearly a service that's meant for a lot of different kinds of people, and that they're going to want to sell to families. Maybe that's the reason they cut a hard R trailer, so that families would know that there are going to be things that they can't let their kids watch. But it makes me question the projects they greenlit and the way that they're making them. I'm not saying that they couldn't have anything like that, but why are they acting like Netflix, where a lot of their original content has to be really super hyper violent, or, I mean, I guess I don't mean that with Netflix. Netflix has stuff like that. They also have a lot of stuff that's just, you know, really mature content. It's not for kids. It's not necessarily hyper violent. But if you're, and I guess Netflix is also sold to families, but you see what I'm saying, though?
No, it's different. It's different. They need a way to differentiate that superhero thing.
Yeah, they really do.
We are not so far from people taking their kids to Watchmen because it's a superhero thing.
Well, no, we're not, and I'm complaining. I did a rant about it last show. Like, I'm still complaining about stores not making sure that rated R cartoons aren't in the family section.
Streaming service and not differentiate them at all.
Yeah, but again, to their credit, that might be why they made a Red Band trailer and nothing else. A Red Band type trailer and nothing else. So that people would know.
Except that, yeah, I don't know.
But I'm afraid that might repel some people that otherwise would want the service. Like, I still think that service has a chance of being huge. I still think it could sell really, really well. They're doing the $8 price point, which is precisely what I said they should do, and it's really cool that it's got so many different avenues, and that it's not just streaming content, and that it's comics and stuff. I'm very impressed with it as a business model.
It seems like a mistake, especially, I mean, given that with BVS, I would not have released a trailer that looks like we just gave a TV show to Zack Snyder. It seems like a mistake to be like, okay, we're making all this original content. I'm worried that we're going to get this thing that, like, so much stuff has now, where it's like, you will either get Teen Titans Go or BVS.
Yeah.
There will be no in-between. Now, we know with Young Justice that basically they're allowed to do whatever they want. I'd like to think those guys are sophisticated enough that they're still making, I mean...
What that show was.
Yeah. Like maybe it's a little bit more violent. Yeah. I don't think we're all of a sudden getting a bunch of F-bombs in that show.
Or they might deal with topics that they wouldn't have.
They might more explicitly deal with sex or something like that.
Sure.
Because,
but you know, if they're thoughtful about it, that's fine.
Yeah. I think those guys are classy enough to not just immediately be like, okay, well...
I think some people are jumping the gun and making assumptions about what they're doing character-wise with Robin. I don't think you can be sure of certain things I'm hearing people say, like, clearly he's killing people. He's obviously really violent. And I don't like that right away for Dick Grayson. Maybe they can win me over on it. I'll be surprised if they can. But, like, I get, like, in the context of the time period you're throwing us in, where, like, if he just broke up with Batman, and he's, like, really, really brutish and angry and trying to find himself again. Like, I get doing that for a certain amount of time. I don't get the Watchmen back alley scene with Dick Grayson. Why do we have to go that far? So we'll see what it's like in the context of the show, but I'll be very surprised if we won over.
Yeah, my issue isn't so much. I mean, it doesn't seem like Dick Grayson at all.
Yeah.
But my issue isn't so much that. It's just as it's like, who are you selling to?
Yeah.
Who do you think this is appealing to?
Yeah, who's the audience for that? And a lot of people are also, again, going to this is not my Teen Titans. I don't have a dog in that fight, like I said earlier, and I've never watched that animated series.
I don't think it's fair to say that with the animated series because that's not Teen Titans.
I don't think it's fair to.
I mean, it's not the comic Titans.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's fair to expect the same show you had before and the exact same tone and all of that. No,
it'd be like growing up with Adam West, and then when 89 came out, I was like, this isn't my Batman. It's like, well, that's not what the comics are either.
Yeah, and it's not what they're making.
Yeah. No, Young Justice is much more in what I see the Teen Titans as. Young Justice is the Teen Titans. I like the Teen Titans show from the 2000s. But Young Justice is the tone that I generally think of the comics Titans having.
Sure, yeah. Like, there's a reason. I'm just saying, there's a reason that show doesn't have the word teen in it. Like, it is
true,
a different kind of team. Yeah.
The Titans do tend to be kind of fun. Like, they get dark and broody. They do tend to like each other, and they do make jokes.
Yeah, I mean, if we can take very much from what the tone of it feels like, the way they're selling it, and I mean, like, again, I'm having a hard time imagining that they just took the darkest things out of context, but otherwise it's a really fun show. Like,
doesn't fix the costumes, doesn't fix the special effects. As
much of a wait-and-see attitude as I can about that, but looking at it doesn't immediately engender confidence, certainly. But what I was going to say is, it's hard to look at that and not feel like it looks like a lot of the other really angsty superhero teen things we've tried recently. It reminds me, and we only watched one episode. People have told me it got better. I didn't watch anymore.
People also said it was good to begin with.
But no, I know that. But people, but I have a hard time not looking at that and being reminded of Runaways.
Mm-hmm. But like even more violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that's like.
I imagine not good. Well, here's the thing that's very worrying. It is the first time I've seen a trailer for something on a streaming service where it looks like what I think something would look like on a streaming service. Like, Discovery did not have this. We did not look at Discovery and go, oh no, they used a streaming service budget.
One of the only things it does right is production value. It looks great.
Yeah.
I might have issues with aesthetics, but it looks great.
Even what we saw with Runaways, like some of this, like a lot of stuff, I'm like, I don't know if a streaming service has the budget to do that. I'm worried that this doesn't have the budget to do some of its primary characters. Regardless of superhero fights and villains,
I don't mind the production values in Cloak and Dagger. Like, there's a little bit of shoddy stuff, but like it's all right.
I'm gonna have to deal with that Starfire and that Beast Boy for the entire show.
No, it's like Inhumans.
Yeah, it's like Inhumans. If there was a constant effect on two of those characters, they at least painted the green guy, or did they just make him not green? They just made him not green.
Didn't make him green.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's embarrassing. The production value-wise, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and Karnak was like,
yeah.
Okay. Clone Wars is coming back. They're doing more seasons.
I never understood why they canceled in the first place, but that's cool.
Yeah.
People that like Clone Wars will be really excited
about that. Yeah. And apparently they had other seasons planned, and there's scripts and stuff. So.
Oh yeah. No, there's a bunch of, because they worked in like season and halves. Where like they didn't make like season 1. They made like the back half of season 1, the first half of season 2. So that's how we got the Lost episodes. Was they'd already done all that?
Yeah.
But they had scripts for the rest of the season, and I think the season after it. But like that's supposed to be a 6 or 7. They like there will be an end point. This will be one of those things where, like we're just doing what we didn't get to do.
I think it'll be interesting. Yes, they'll just keep going ad nauseum.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how informed that is by Rebels.
Yeah.
Because Rebels paid some stuff off from Clone Wars, and now they're going to make more Clone Wars, and that's kind of interesting.
They can't use Ahsoka again, I don't think. They're going to have to keep her away, because I'm pretty sure she's in hiding until she shows up in Rebels. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because she definitively goes away at the end of Clone Wars. I don't think they can use her again.
It will give them an out to do more Maul.
I also didn't think that they would...
Or is he written off in some way where they can't bring him back?
Here's what's interesting. So the Maul arc, we know that scripts were written that resolved that story, or at least theoretically resolved that story, turned into a comic book. The question is, are we going to adapt those stories?
Or do something
or
different?
Will we actually do those stories? And will we actually do the story that got turned into Dark Disciple, which is about Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress? And then which ones count continuous?
Maul remains so popular that I wouldn't
He is
be
the Boba Fett
surprised.
of the prequels.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and we know who the Boba Fett of the new movies is.
Finn.
No, Phasma. Anyway, so but I would.
But people don't actually like her.
No, I know that's true. That's true. No, that's like a forced Boba Fett.
Yeah, no, they wanted her to be the Boba Fett.
I guess, even though they kept acting like they were going to do more stuff with her, and they just didn't. And
I feel like the Boba Fett of the new films is Kylo Ren. Like, there's just nothing there, and they don't do anything with them, but they look really cool.
I mean, it's different because he's a major character.
He's in a lot of the
Eric. Our Darth Vader is also our Boba Fett. Noodle that one. But anyway, no, what I was going to say is Maul remains so popular, I wouldn't be surprised if part of the reason they decided to do more of that show is just so that they can get more Maul stuff out there.
That might be so. Might be so.
And you just watch if they do a story that's just to resolve the Maul thing, it'll be 8 episodes long.
I mean, the comic is only 4 issues, so we'll see.
They will make it as long as they can make it.
And they get the credit for the Maul thing. They were the people who really officially like brought him back and gave him those cool spider legs.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, one of the big major stories that happened over the last week is Disney firing James Gunn. Eric and I just did a Geeks Not Nerds talking ins and outs of that whole thing and how we feel about it. So if you want to hear us talk about that, go watch the Geeks Not Nerds. And there is a planned Buffy reboot, and Whedon is apparently somewhat involved. He's helping to write the first script, but we don't know beyond
that. And he's
that what
producing it, or executive producing it, or something like that?
But after he writes that first script, who knows what his producing it means. He produced on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. He didn't have anything to do with that show.
And the woman writing the show worked with him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. person.
Yeah. So, we'll see what that's
exciting.
Like. But what's weird about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that to be fair, I don't want to follow those guys under the bus. There were really good, talented writers on that show, and you go watch an episode, or at least I had this. There were a lot of episodes where, and I haven't watched that show in a couple of years, I would be bored to tears, but love the writing. The issue was not that the writing was bad, or even that the storytelling was horrible. It was just that they didn't have great ideas. It felt like a premise that a lot of people just weren't excited to even work on.
Interesting.
You know? It was just uninspired. That's it. It was just really good. Like, you look at the writing on that compared to the CW shows, and it's night and day. It's just uninspired storytelling. That's it.
And probably really handcuffed with what they can.
That's it. You know, I would get to the end of that episode, and I'd be like, okay, that was really good. What about that? Like, I just never cared. Or I very often didn't care. Never felt like we were leading to anything. And then you'd get a big reveal, and you'd be like, that feels like a second or third episode of your season reveal. I don't know, we spent the whole season going toward this. All right. I'm being vague, but I felt that way a lot, you know. But do at some point go back and watch the first season for Paxton, because he tears it up. Or watch the last 5 episodes of that season. Because all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, wait, does this show like get bad again? Because it's great at the end of that first season.
Have you gone back to it since?
I haven't. I
wonder if you'd still feel that way. I
think I would.
Okay.
I think I would. No, it's really good.
Okay.
I stand by that. I would be really surprised if I didn't. I stand by that. But anyway, so the Buffy reboot. I guess I just got to see it. I don't know. It's. I don't care. I kind of don't. I
would be much more interested in.
And they don't. Interestingly, they don't have a network yet. They're still shopping it.
Yeah. I would be much more interested in, like, the next Slayer. Like, there's still so much of that universe that's...
Continuity, yeah.
Yeah. Look...
Well, I guess the problem with that, though, is canon comics and stuff.
Whedon has always said if the TV show... If he ever came back to the TV show, he would wipe away the comics in a second. That it's a placeholder canon.
Yeah.
And also, those comics aren't selling.
You would have to do something with the potentials, though, right? Like, you'd have to get rid of that continuity. Or get rid of that
find a way around
status quo. Yeah.
But, like, no, just make it about a new Slayer. Why does it have to be Buffy? Why do you have to reboot Buffy? Just let that universe keep going.
I'm with you. I don't really know what the point of that is. And I wonder if they're going to... I will be surprised if they do a lot of recasting of characters we had already. I think it'll be Buffy and like a whole other supporting cast. I would be really surprised if it wasn't.
We'll see.
That's what my instincts say. I don't know. But I would think that you would want to kind of create a new mythology from the ground up. But
maybe you go back to the movie. And you use whoever friend in the movie is and those guys.
That would be weird.
Would be weird.
But I mean, yeah, I guess
I've still never seen the movie, so
yeah. The end of the 3rd season, we burned the gym down. But Joss Whedon is also showrunning a show called The Nevers, which was news that we had already, but Eric and I didn't see. This is going to be on HBO. It's a Victorian show with people with superpowers.
Girls with superpowers.
Girls with superpowers. Well, naturally, sure.
It kind of sounds like Victorian Buffy. Maybe like Victorian Charmed, but I was
going to say maybe not Buffy. I mean, it's a bunch of people with superpowers and it's not vampires, but...
Yeah. I mean... Buffy didn't have vampires in season 2 either.
It is maybe cool to see Whedon do a period piece. I mean, he's done the future, he's never done the past. So
yeah, that's true.
He reveled in that stuff with some of the flashbacks with Angel and stuff. I always thought, and think about it, a lot of that was also Victorian, and I kind of think that would be the right period for him.
And he's obviously influenced by Anne Rice.
It could be great.
It could be. No, I'm not down. I'm like, oh, so we're doing a show about a group of magical girls. So it's
a premise that excites me more than Dollhouse did.
That's true. And he talks about like how like small,
which I ultimately
story's going to be.
It took a long time. Oh, cool! I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So we'll see. And it's on HBO, which is interesting. Never had anything like that from Whedon.
No, that's true.
And Dollhouse clearly should have been.
Yeah.
Dollhouse wanted to be an HBO show, or should have been an HBO show.
Although I think sometimes it not being allowed to be too explicit maybe helped it a little bit.
Maybe so. But I'm excited. I'm excited for new Whedon. I'm always excited for new Whedon.
Yeah. So that's exciting. We got the trailer for Glass.
Yes, we did.
Which I could not be more excited about.
I don't have any feelings.
You don't have any feelings?
It looks fine. I don't...
Well, it looks like what I expected, which is why I'm excited about it, man.
I am whelmed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks okay. It looks fine. I will see it. I didn't have what I thought I was going to have. Which is...
I am concerned about corniness. I am afraid it could get really corny.
Yeah. Wow, and I'm also confused about why Mr. Glass is in that room. It's like, you all have superpowers. That guy doesn't.
He doesn't have superpowers.
That guy gets broken.
I had the same thing, yeah. No, he has the opposite of superpowers.
He has super weakness. No, I thought when I saw the trailer for Glass, it would be like the end of Split. Where I'd be really excited to finally get to see these characters again. And I just didn't have that. I was like, oh yeah, this is coming out.
I just love McAvoy so much.
No, I know. He's great.
Really
Look,
excited about that.
He's great.
I'm afraid he'll take over.
Sam Jackson looks great.
I'm a little worried he'll take over, though.
Honestly, it looks like Bruce Willis could not be in that movie.
Yeah. it might feel like...
Oh, he doesn't look like he's phoning it in.
It might feel like Split 2 before it feels like Unbreakable 3, right? Like...
I don't know. It's called Glass. I imagine we'll focus on him the most. But I don't know.
Yeah, but like, they're doing like, obviously they're talking about like a super villain team-up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
which is dumb. He's like, this sounds like a supervillain team up. No, it doesn't. You can't do anything.
Well, no, but he's got
the thinker,
he's got the
right?
brains,
yeah,
though.
He's the thinker. He's the super thinker.
The thing that made me laugh so hard, I've never seen a comic shop set up like that.
Heroes, villains.
Why? Wait,
what is on that villain? So you got Deathstroke, you got Harley Quinn, you got not even Venom. Not at this point.
Current Venom?
Is he a villain?
Well, he's not a superhero.
I think he was like a League of Protector.
Kind of.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not reading it right now, but...
Venom. Web of Venom.
Venom.
Now, it's also possible it's just too cool signs, but the way they shoot it, it looks like it's supposed to be, this is the heroes section of the store, and this is the villain section of the store.
I'm so hung up on that. I gotta see the movie to see what they do with it. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to, Eric, is just seeing why there's a villain side of a comic book.
I also have a theory that M. Night Shyamalan has never read the comic book, but did like a lot of research when he wrote Unbreakable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he academically understands comics. I don't know if he's ever actually read comics or been to a comic book store. Like, he knows they exist.
I have also had that thought. Yeah.
Come on, man! I gotta get some chicken in me. Who yells at me? That scene. Unbreakable.
It also looks like a guy who didn't read comics and then watched every season of Heroes.
Yeah, but the first one feels like that too.
No, I know. It looks like Heroes watched Unbreakable. Moving right along.
Is it Tim Kring?
We've got, yeah, Tim Kring. We've got, he went on to do one more season of Heroes.
He is the Bizarro World version of Tom King. Tim Kring.
Tim Kring. Me make villains. That means he makes heroes. Me not make villains. Except it was that one season that was also kind of called villains, so that gets confusing. Anyway, Eric, we have 3 planned DC animated movies next year, not counting the second part of Death of Superman. We're going to get a total of 4, which is, like, not a big deal because one of them is just an extension of one that's coming out this year. So it's basically still the regular count, except...
And the back half.
Money-wise, they are technically spending more money. Be putting those out next year. But
no, the individual products, obviously.
Right. We're getting Hush, finally. Which I think is a good thing to adapt that way, and I think you could improve on it.
It's a story that can be improved upon. And, most importantly, it's a story that can be trimmed down.
Yep.
It's a story that makes sense to shorten.
Yeah. Honestly, maybe we've talked about this before, and that's one we've pitched, that's one we've thrown out. I heard
we were just always right there. Like,
I heard that, and I was like, oh yes, of course. I don't know why I never thought of that. I probably have thought of that, but I was like...
No, I feel like we've talked, like, every time it comes up, it's like, well, yeah, obviously, like, Hush for Long Halloween. And having reread it, Long Halloween, it's coin flip. Do whichever you want. They're about the same.
I mean, I think Long Halloween's better than Hush, but...
Do you really?
That ending is really confusing and problematic.
The whole book is confusing and problematic. I'm actually not sure anymore.
I think Hush...
It's a weird top server world I live in.
I think Hush is a better pick because they like doing really action-oriented things.
That's true.
And I just think they'll adapt it better.
And Jim Lee's art style is more
if they use it. But my worry is it's going to be in the 52 continuity. We need to talk about that because... so we've got 3 of these. We've got Hush, we've got Justice League versus Fatal 5, and we've got Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Are they going to finally cap off the 52 continuity with Death to Superman, or are they going to keep going with it, and it's going to be all 3 of these films, or only 2 of these films, or what? I could see Reign of the Supermen being their last hurrah in 52 universe.
I would like to go back to the self-contained...
It's been 2+ years with post-Rebirth. We're not even calling it Rebirth anymore, and we're still doing this 52 continuity with the movies. We finally had one great movie in this continuity. Can we just hang it up and try something different?
Yeah.
And I told you, I like the idea of having a continuity in a house art style so that we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every time and keep wondering, like, what has happened in continuity, what hasn't. Keep having to reestablish characters that we see every other movie. But on the other hand, when you adapt something like Hush, you don't get to try the art style.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also interesting that the other 2 movies are original stories.
Yeah.
And also... Hush is not a story from 52. And it's not like the other Batmans, where, like, they were kind of doing Morrison from before 52, but really they were doing Snyder.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, Hush is just straight up not a 52. I guess neither is Death of Superman.
Yeah. No, it's really weird that Death of Superman is in
but then it's weird to then do 2 original films.
Yep.
A Justice League film I could not care less about.
That does not sound like a thing that anybody buys.
No, especially because the article had to explain who the characters were, and if they're so minor, most people don't even know who they are.
Okay, but...
Superman vs. the Elite.
If Superman vs. the Elite was pretty great, and people bought and they had never heard of any of those characters, if it's a cool story and they sell it right, that's fine. I'm just saying that, on the face of it, it doesn't sound like a thing anybody will buy. No.
And Wonder Woman Bloodlines I'm excited about, because apparently now I'm a Wonder Woman person, so...
So, yay!
Exciting.
And I'm glad that they're doing other characters. Of course, they have been trying Teen Titans movies.
It's really nice
so there's more precedent now.
We've getting a second try.
We've gotten way past the we only do Batman.
And I assume we'll line up with the release of Wonder Woman 2.
Well, and Suicide Squad didn't have Batman or Justice League in the title either.
No.
And the first time they tried that, they felt like they had to put Batman in the title. When you go look at the numbers for how these movies sell, having Batman in the title doesn't necessarily help anymore. Although some of the highest grossing ones have been movies that I wouldn't think would sell that great. Like Son of Batman did like $6 million, which is like middle of the road for those. They cost like $3.5 million to make, and a lot of them come in at 2 or 3. They break even.
Mm.
So like
maybe they could shut up their quality.
The highest grossing one is 12, and that was Superman Doomsday back in 2007. Again,
maybe they should have worried about quality all the way back at the beginning.
I think so too. Yep. Well, I mean, for a thing that's direct to video, like, you know, if it costs $3.5 million to make, like, $12 million's really good. You know?
It is, but I'm saying it wasn't good though.
No, it wasn't.
And that was everyone's introduction to this line.
Yep.
That was the mainstream public's introduction to this.
Look, I'm done reviewing that movie. Okay. I'm done.
We get to kind of do it again.
Wait, why?
Because that's Superman's coming out.
Yeah, but at least it's not that movie again. Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer.
So excited!
It looks really cool.
Out of my mind excited. If you're not gonna give me like dudes in suits breaking things and things exploding all around them and their lives are in danger to give me the movie I'm getting, this is what I want from a CGI monster movie. It looks huge. It looks epic. I'm so excited.
Can I tell you the thing I'm most excited about?
Is it Charles Dance?
I love Vera Farmiga.
Who's Vera Farmiga?
She's the main lady in that movie.
Oh,
the Bates
okay.
Motel. She's Norma Bates in Bates Motel.
Oh. Okay, cool.
I love her.
Okay.
She's great.
I love Charles Dance. I'm excited he's in that.
I don't know who that is.
He's the old man you see for like 6 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Everyone right now knows him because of Game of Thrones. I know him because he's the villain of Last Action Hero. And he's also in Alien 3. Charles Dance is amazing. I'm really excited he's in this movie.
No, it looks like she's getting somewhat typecast because she tends to, like with Norma Bates, play characters who like, you know, kind of think their heart's in the right place, but they end up messing up everything. And it looks like she's the reason there's monsters everywhere. And at one point, someone in the trailer calls her a monster. So that might be interesting thematically. We get human monsters and monster monsters.
I did have a moment where Godzilla showed up. I was like, oh, that's right. We have this real fat, stocky Godzilla. It's like stocky Frank Miller Godzilla.
Dude, there's a shot where it looks like he has the eyebrows that I love, though. I don't know if you saw that, but there's
Mothra looks good.
Yep.
We get a brief glimpse of Rodan, and then King Ghidorah is in shadows, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I was going to say Ghidorah looked pretty cool when we saw him.
Yeah. No, I was not ready for how excited I was. Like, this is everything I want a Godzilla movie to look like if we're going to make it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they took the criticisms to heart in the right way from the last one.
And they learned from Kong.
Because and Kong was just fun and people really enjoyed it, but it also, like, told a decent story. It looks like, what I might have been worried about was that they would have taken too much of that to heart and looked too much at Kong and said, well, screw storytelling, we'll just put monsters all over the screen. It looks like there's a story in that movie. And
It does. I mean, you can make it look like anything.
Sure, but I mean, it looks like there's maybe some heart at the...
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, Vera Farmiga could die in the first act. You know, just like Cranston. Like,
I am going to make a prediction.
I had that thought. Because she's all over the trailer like Cranston was, I'm like, she's dead in the first act.
I'm going to make a prediction about that film. With as big... And I also love the scale of it. Like, we lose Washington.
You're right, it's like Independence Day scale.
Yeah. If we're gonna throw our money at a monster movie, this is what I want from it. It looks so good. I'm so excited. Here's my prediction. I'm gonna predict Godzilla dies at the end of that movie.
Oh, sure.
Or we think he's dead.
Yeah.
And then we get out of it with Godzilla versus King Kong.
Do we kill all the other monsters, or do we like shoot them into space, or
it could be a Empire Strikes Back kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
Where like Godzilla dies and like the other monsters
and we're overrun, and what do we do?
Or and then Kong shows up, starts punching people.
Awesome! No, that's how that movie should end. It's just there's monsters everywhere.
Yeah. It's
remember how huge
Kong
is.
Of them.
Like if they had 4 monsters, Kong could take on at least half of them.
Kong's not fighting Rodan. I'm sorry, not Rodan. King Ghidorah.
No,
Kong could fight Rodan and Mothra. Not King.
Not King. Yeah, probably not. That's gonna be a team. That's gonna be a team.
That's a team up.
They'll get rid of Godzilla.
That's why it's Godzilla versus
they'll bring Godzilla.
King Kong.
They'll bring Godzilla back like halfway through the next one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the next one is Godzilla vs. King Kong. Like,
See, we just wrote it.
Yeah,
we know what happens.
Oh man, no, I cannot believe how excited I am for that movie. Like, it looks like everything I ever wanted.
Last thing to talk about today is the Doctor Who Series 2.
Well, we haven't talked about the trailers.
Teaser, I guess. What other trailers?
Shazam or Aquaman.
Oh my god, I just didn't even put it on the list. Okay, well we'll do the Doctor Who thing real quick.
Sure.
I have nothing to say about that, and then we'll go to Aquaman. It looks like Doctor Who with the Lady Doctor. I don't know what to say about it.
It looks a little bit less whimsical, which is interesting because
that's true.
That was Moffat's whole thing. Was like he was like an adult fairy tale, right? Like that was his.
I mean, the color palette looked almost more muted to me.
Yeah. I'm excited. When I watched the last, I think I talked about this on the other. When I watched the Christmas special, she's there for like a minute, and I was like, oh, she's the Doctor immediately. Like she's really good. And this did not dissuade. I kept being worried that like she was gonna show up and she's gonna be like Matt Smith again. I really like her. I'm really excited. But it also doesn't give me anything really to go off of. I don't like the new format, or the rumored new format, where they're going to be less episodes but longer episodes.
Oh,
which is the opposite direction of how it should be going.
Yeah, no. They need to go back to half an hour.
They need to go back to half an hour. They really
We've
need
been
to go
saying
back
that for
to
years,
yep.
but yeah.
Give me 16 episodes at half an hour. Don't give me 6 episodes at like an hour.
I'm so behind.
Or an hour 20.
It still feels like Peter Capaldi just started. I've only watched 1 episode of that. Like,
you should watch the quality stuff. It's all on Amazon.
I need to.
At least that first season, because that first season is maybe my favorite season of New Who. So you should at least watch that.
I loved their first episode. I thought it was really good.
I just rewatched that recently.
Oh, cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Shazam.
Sure.
And Aquaman. I think Shazam is gonna be DC's answer to Ant-Man, but I think it's gonna feel bigger and less B-listy and maybe more warranted for for an ongoing franchise. I think it looks so much fun.
It looks delightful.
It just looks wonderful, and I'm impressed with. I have the same feeling I did when we first saw a trailer for Thor back in the day. Oh, they're just going to go all the way. Mm-hmm. They're going to go straight off the page.
I love this chest is all lit up.
Yep. They're not scared of anything.
Yep.
With like the wizard and all of in all of the magic stuff, like they're not scared of anything.
I bet you we get a joke where he tries to explain to people, where he tries to come up with a name and tries to explain to people he's not Shazam. Everyone just keeps calling him Shazam. I bet you that happens.
Oh yeah, I bet it does. Because the wizard's name is Shazam.
Yeah. And his name was Captain Marvel until recently, where we changed to Shazam for legal reasons.
Yeah, no, because you're right, because they left that comic book. Like, it's the name of the wizard.
Yep.
Which I think is what it is in the comic.
Yeah. And there's a whole thing.
But that set looks so cool.
It's like Wisdom of Solomon, Strength of Hercules. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It
looks like really good family-friendly superhero fare.
The thing I didn't get, that I hope we get, is the way into Shazam's lair. You pass these giant statues.
Right.
We don't have that in the trailer. I'm hoping that's in the movie.
Yeah, that would be great.
It's one of the few things I really know about Shazam.
I don't know a whole lot about Captain Marvel either.
Yeah.
But it feels like a real kid, both with the kid and with adult Captain Marvel.
There's some real fun. Like almost like 80s humor where that kid's like, it's like I know me, like orphaned and poor, like I'm just winning everything. I don't remember exactly what the joke is, but something like that.
No, you're right. I know we've been going to this kind of thing a lot. It's a little bit Spielberg-y again in that way.
It is kind of what I would think a Spielberg Shazam would look like. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't think of that until just now.
No.
But it's cool because it's got like the sad tragic backstory, and it looks like it can go to that dark place to a degree, but it's not losing sight of the fun of it.
Yeah, it's still the wonder of it.
Yeah. It's just, it's not, at one time, it's not at all what you would have thought DC would do with that.
Yeah.
And you see why they felt the need to say it was out of continuity originally. Yeah. It might still be, but I'm just saying, like, that if they were still worried about synergy, this doesn't fit the vision for BVS and Justice League at
This is not Snyder's universe. No, but it looks really fun.
I'm so excited about it. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It would look
Don't
like.
need the pee joke.
No, I don't need that either, but...
What does he mean? I'm gonna pee in this thing! I'd imagine it's like any other pants. What does that mean?
Well, no, that's not true, because it probably just doesn't have a zipper anywhere or anything.
I just imagine, I guess I just thought it was a two-piece thing. Maybe not.
No, I mean, a lot of the time you have just a unitard.
I guess
it's
that's
like,
true.
how do you
No,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Now that you say that, that actually makes sense
Sure.
that you say that.
Sure.
Because it's like, no, it's funny because it's like, it's a magical suit.
Yeah.
There's probably no way to get out of it. You probably just have to turn back into Billy Batson. You probably can't even take it off.
Yeah, don't drink like a lot of water and then...
No, that actually is a good joke, potentially.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, before we go on to Aquaman, can I mention how weird it is that we didn't get anything at all for Aquaman until a few months out, but we already have a teaser that's like 45 seconds shorter than it for Shazam. Really strange to get both of those things on the same day. And I realized that they saved Aquaman for Comicon, which was smart. I don't know why we don't do that more often. But it's weird that we already have that much of Shazam, which just tells me that they're confident in it.
Yeah.
I think they trust that movie.
I think so too.
And it looks like they know how to sell it.
Yep. Yep.
Aquaman also looks incredibly delightful.
So before we get into anything,
yeah,
Black Manta.
Holy freaking crap!
Black Manta.
I lost it. Yep, he looks great.
He looks great. He's shooting laser beams into buildings.
It's completely unabashed, right?
It's completely unabashed. It's everything I could have hoped that movie was.
The only thing I'm worried about is I saw so much stuff right off the page. I don't know how you make sequels to that movie. Like, it looks like they're doing everything Aquaman ever. I mean, there's lots of things. I know. But that's what it looks like, right? They are filling the screen with stuff. It looks great. And I don't know if you'll agree with this, and this probably isn't even entirely true, but it feels like a movie that, like, just with the trailer, where I feel like I'm not gonna feel so weird when it comes out that it took this long to finally get an Aquaman movie out. It feels like a movie you couldn't have made until right now. We would not have had the technology. Yeah. That's what it feels like. No, I agree with that. Unless James Cameron made it. Right. But he could have made it in '93. But anybody else? Yeah. Look, he made The Abyss. I was gonna say he made The Abyss. He's a water thing, sure. No, it looks so good. Imagine this, but everywhere. The most disappointing thing is that we're stuck with that stupid design that they gave Aquaman. I think it looks really good, even in the context of that. Okay. I think if this was a ground-up first film, when you look at the rest of everything else around it with Atlantis, he wouldn't look like that. But dumb tattoos. I know, but what I like about the tattoo thing, maybe I've just gotten used to it, and he won me over so much in Justice League, regardless of what I think about the Justice League. He did the goofy yell. I knew you'd be excited about that. Right? So, the reason I like the tattoos is because, or what I like about them anyway, is that he doesn't look just like all the other Atlanteans. He's got to set himself apart somehow. That's true. But what's weird is that we assumed he gave himself Atlantean tattoos. Well, we assumed that, and then we saw Justice League, and I was like, well, maybe they don't know what it is because they were just stuck with that design and they just ran with it. Yeah. It's so weird. I guarantee you, if James wanted to make that movie from the ground up, he would not look like that. Well, that's the nice thing about Shazam. It's not tied to anything. Yeah. You know, they were stuck with it. And that's why, if Wonder Woman hadn't been a period piece, it might have been in trouble. But no, I'm insanely excited for Aquaman. It looks great. Not as good as I am for Godzilla. It's so colorful, and I didn't expect the movie to hit me like that. Well, and it's funny because, like, I'm not a huge, Godzilla person and monster person, so I'm not as excited about that as I am Aquaman, but I'm also not a big Aquaman fan. No. They've just really wanted. It just looks on the Bash comic book. Like, it's crazy. You never thought you'd see that. Never thought I'd see that Black Manta. No. Well, I mean, but, like, you never thought you'd see an Aquaman that looks like that. Looks that comic book. Yeah. Like, it's not. Yeah. If the movie lives up to that trailer, it's going to put the Thor movies to shame so hard. Yep. Yep. Because it has so much in common with what Thor is. I mean, Black Panther has also done that. Sure, yeah. But, like... No, this will even more so make the Thor movies really bad. Thing, yeah. But with Aquaman, it's like... Oh, with isolated society and... Yeah, but with Aquaman, you have more of the godlike thing. Yeah, and the fantastical... Yeah. I mean, I guess... I mean, Black Panther has superpowers. Yes. Well, I'm in a fantastical world. Where, like, Asgard's like off in space and some water. And, yeah. No, I'm really excited. It looks great. Could not have asked for a better trailer for this movie. And suddenly I find myself more excited about DC movies than I am Marvel, which I never thought I would get to say. But that's just because we don't know what they're doing past Captain Marvel and the next Avengers. So I mean, like Spider-Man 2. We're in. Oh, that's true. But I mean, like we're in a little bit of a holding pattern right now where they don't want to give too much away until the end of their big event movies. So like that's completely fair. I'm not knocking Marvel when I say that. For Avengers 4 is just the thanks list. Everybody. See you later. No, it's just like the list for like the next 30 years of Marvel movies. I thought you were gonna say, what if it was like, okay, that's all you get, read a book! Okay, was there anything else I missed that I forgot to write down? No. I don't know how I didn't write the trailers down, but is that everything? I hope that's everything. I think that's everything. If we missed anything from Comicon, let us know. We'll talk about it next time. So thanks a lot for watching the Captain's Log, everybody. We're going to move on now to the final segment of this week. It's the letters pages for about 15 minutes. We're going to answer questions from some of you folks, so keep watching in the playlist if you want to. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, everybody. I am Captain Logan. I'm Eric.